morning. My name is Bob Gretz, Gretz. I'm a senior air safety investigator with the National Transportation Safety Board, Office of Aviation Safety, Eastern Region. I'm based out of New Jersey. We received notification last night that a single-engine plane had crashed on approach here to the Robertson Airport, Plainville, Connecticut. I responded very early this morning, met here on scene with officials from the FAA, from the Connecticut Department of Transportation, and then from local law enforcement and fire department. Basically spent the morning documenting records, going through aircraft records. We're waiting for one other gentleman, a technical representative from Cessna, the manufacturer of the airplane. He left very early this morning from Wichita and is going to assist us in going through, participate in the NTSB investigation, going through the airframe. Basically today, we're just documenting the scene. We're looking in three areas. Basically the pilot, the machine, and the environment. And what I mean by that, with the environment, weather at the time, wind, radar data, any air traffic control data. With the machine, again, going through the maintenance records, documenting the wreckage here on scene. It should be removed by the insurance company probably late this afternoon, early this evening, and we can go through it one more time again tomorrow after it's been recovered to a hangar, and we have some tools that we can work with instead of just working on the side of the road. And they're usually stored for about 6 to 12 months, so we can go back and look at it if need be. And then, of course, with the pilot, we'll be looking at his overall experience, his recent experience in the type of airplane, where he departed from, and so forth. The whole process is about 6 to 12 months. Within 5 business days of the accident, we'll have a preliminary report on our website, www.ntsb.gov. And then over a period of 6 months, as all that other information comes in, the radar data, toxicology reports, autopsy reports, which is pretty standard for a fatal accident, we compile all that, issue a factual report. That goes to the actual safety board, which is a 5-member presidential appointee panel in Washington, D.C., and they then issue a probable cause. So like I said, the whole process is about 6 to 12 months, but I might be able to answer some of your early questions here today.
Who was he?
That I always defer to the local medical examiner that has to identify them.
Do you know anything about his piloting experience as of yet? Even without a name?
I talked with the business here that rented him the airplane. They obviously have to get checked out, and they fill out a rental questionnaire. And the person that rented the airplane had listed 1,000 hours of flight experience. This was back in June. Most of the information I've received here from Interstate Aviation was that it was just a rental for a pleasure flight.
For the day or for a few hours?
I believe it was rented for 2 or 3 days. Sort of an optional thing. You could keep it for 2 days, you could keep it for 3 days.
Any idea as to how long he had it out yesterday?
I believe it was rented, I haven't confirmed it, but I believe it was rented about 1 p.m.
And where is he coming back from, or just going around?
We're still trying to sort that out. Initially, we were told that he went to the Vineyard and back, but then we were told he was visiting people in Canaan, Connecticut. So we're trying to sort out, but it wouldn't be unusual to stop at a couple different airports. So we're trying to still sort out where his last stop was before he came here and the accident happened.
Why is NTSB investigating and not FAA?
It's joint investigation. The NTSB with Congress were charged with investigating all aviation accidents. Typically, although we investigate all of them, we're a smaller agency than the FAA. If there's fatalities, we'll usually respond on scene. If it's a more minor accident, we might just do it as a report from the office, but the FAA would go out to it.
Any safety issues in the history of the aircraft?
It's a Cessna 172, very common airplane, nothing that I'm aware of. It's a 1981 four-seat airplane.
1981, four-seat?
Four-seat airplane, 180 horsepower engine. Very, very common, small single-engine airplane.
Any initial indication as to what went wrong?
At this point, no. I mean, at this point, it's day one of an investigation that'll run 6 to 12 months. As you folks have probably seen, it looks like the airplane impacted the berm about 20 feet below the runway. So it's just going through the wreckage and see what we can find.
A lot of people we talked to said they saw it coming in and just appeared to drop suddenly. Is there anything common that tends to cause something like that?
No, we talked to one witness who is a flight instructor. He didn't actually see the impact. He saw the airplane coming in on final approach, and he said it's not an exact science, but in looking up, he said it seemed to him it was slightly high and that it was correcting for that, to come down a little bit. But then he got in his car and drove away and didn't actually see the impact.
And the environment. There were storms coming, but not quite here, according to people we're talking to. It doesn't look like it was all that bad an environment.
I've heard the same thing. I'll have to double check, but I heard that those brutal storms seemed to come about an hour or two after the accident. I would still like to probably check the winds ahead of that storm just to see what they were doing.
Now, you can't even tell us if he's local from this area?
The airplane's rented locally. I mean, that's all I can say is that one male adult. I always defer to local law enforcement to release the names.